Bismillah wa salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today we're going to talk about or give advice to the atheists. The people who believe that there is no God, that there is no higher power that has created and has fashioned and is sustaining what is our existence today. Atheism is a religion. So I'm sorry that it goes against, actually I'm not sorry, but it goes against entirely the whole supposition that atheism is defined as to not believe in a God and therefore not believe in religion. But atheism is a religion. There's no such thing as not having a religion. Everyone has a religion. I guess we can move back to understand or to get a better understanding of what is a religion, at least from an Islamic perspective. And this comes into play, a better understanding, when we understand what is Tawheed and then what is a Taghut. So to put it simply, Tawheed is to implement an exclusivity in regards to the worship of your Creator, Allah alone, and to admit and realize that He has no partners, no associates from whom He needs help and assistance in doing anything. And that He alone is to be the focus and the focal point of your worship, of your dedication, of your struggle and striving, of your existence. It all should be done for Him, for no other reason whatsoever. So this is the Tawheed, in layman's terms, right? You can find a more technical definition by going to the Aqidah books and so forth, but in layman's terms, this is what Tawheed is. So once you understand and strive to implement this Tawheed, it becomes clear that anything that deviates from that, especially in a systemic level, right? Something that is repeated or becomes ritualistic or a habit, that thing becomes a Taghut. So a Taghut is something that takes you off the path from monotheism and causes you to divert into polytheism, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So someone could say, yes, I'm a Muslim, but they have an intense love of money to the point where they're working, and throughout the course of their day, where they're earning a living, they don't take a break, the required obligatory break for their prayers. So you have days, weeks, or even months that go by without them taking the appropriate break for their prescribed 5 prayers throughout the day, but then they prefer to continue working in order to enrich themselves. Effectively, what has happened is that they have caused their money to become a taghut for them. It's something that is now their focal point in their lives, that is an associate or a replacement for the worship of Allah. So instead of worshiping Allah properly, they have dedicated their efforts, their intellect, their struggle for the attainment and the gathering of wealth in opposition to the worship of Allah. This means that this taghut, of this pursuit of wealth that goes against or causes one to neglect one's obligations in Islam, this pursuit is effectively leading you to make the wealth to be a taghut for you. And this can negate your Islam if done over time, if it becomes systemic over time. So, going back to atheism. Atheism is to believe that there's no God. We don't worship anything. We don't believe in any higher power. It's just us human beings. But what do atheists believe in if they don't believe in God? You have to believe in something. You can't exist unless you believe in something. Whatever it is that they believe in, whether it be their own intellect, whether it be the intellect or the accomplishments of their ancestors, whether they believe in nature, that or those things are effectively their new religion. And if they analyze themselves and their habits, they will find that they do perform rituals surrounding those beliefs, whether it's beliefs in their own intellect, beliefs in nature, or beliefs in the accomplishments of their ancestors, or the beliefs in science. You will find eventually over time that there are some rituals or some things that they hold sacrosanct in those issues, in those topics. So it could be science, for example. They will say, I'm an atheist, and I believe that science is what everyone needs to do in order to succeed in life. We need to believe in science, follow the science. Effectively, you have made science your religion. Or if you say, and science and intellect are the same, are similar, you say, okay, I don't believe in science necessarily, I believe in my own intellect, my own instincts, my own ability to discern on a subjective level. My experience in life is different from another person's experience in life, but I depend on myself and my own capabilities, and he can depend on himself and his own capabilities and his own intellect. That is your religion. And if a person across the world has a similar belief, that is his religion. And then you have multiple religions. A polytheistic environment now exists where people have different and often opposing belief systems, while at the same time claiming not to believe in God, but they essentially do believe in God, they just call it a different name. They don't believe in the classical definition of God, but they have attempted to redefine it, but what they've actually done is simply change the name. Instead of calling it God, they call it science, they call it their intellect, they call it their money, their desires, whatever the case. So I've never met an atheist who didn't believe in something, and that something is in fact your God, which in essence makes you not an atheist. Because really there is no such thing. You cannot be an atheist. It's impossible. No matter how hard you try, given enough time, you're going to believe in something, and you're going to strive and work towards something. You're going to hold something sacrosanct, that is something that is above reproach or questioning, or that is sacred to you. Whatever that is, that has become your God. And the practices that you do to ensure that thing persists in your life, that is your religion. So my advice to the atheist is to wake up, realize that no matter what you do, you're going to be believing in God, maybe not the classical God, but a God, one way or another, and you're going to be practicing a religion on one level or another. Whether it's your own personal made-up religion that you've developed consciously or unconsciously, it is still a religion. And you must realize that in such a case, where everyone can have their own religion, nothing but chaos comes from that. And it's much better to find one religion that serves the purpose of humanity together as a cohesive unit, and allows for the progressiveness, or the progress rather, of Islam. The progress of humanity as is defined by that religion. And if you're sincere, you'll come to the realization, after you've done your research, that the best religion for humanity is Islam. So that's it for today. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any questions or needing advice, you'll find the email in the description below.